could influence the outcome of elections because the chairman of the commission was appointed by the president, at least with the influence of the president. And well, there were lots of reasons why elections are not credible. The former INEC chairman from the Goodluck administration, Professor Atahiru Jega, corroborated Goodluck's position and basically said that at this time, if things do not change, our elections will continue to be, what's the opposite of credible? Incredible. That's not it, but, right? The credibility will be questioned. At some point this year, former governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Amechi, said something about politicians killing for power. He didn't put it like that, but he said they will do everything to stay in power. And they will not just give it to you. So these are men who have held different influential positions and still have a lot of clout and influence, speaking about their time in office and spilling some tea that we may or may not have known. Confessions. And I remember some people reacting and asking, why are these people talking after they've left office? Why are they suddenly confessing? Are they trying to furnish their duplex in paradise? Trying to make peace? Why do you suddenly feel the need to come clean? Well, it seems to be a trend. Well, newsflash, that trend has not ended, as the former president of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan, has once again said something to the media. Another confession. And it is tagged, "Why I did not implement the 2014 Confab report." Now, the Confab was a 2014 national conference. It was inaugurated by the president at the time, Dr. Ebele Goodluck Jonathan, on the 17th of March 2014 in Abuja, Nigeria. It was a big national event because the idea was to chart a new course for the country. The one report that would solve a majority of our problems. We were at a crossroads and we needed this national conference to redirect, redesign, restructure, re-strategize, reprint, re-evaluate. Any other word that comes to mind, put it there. But to literally create a new country that is still called Nigeria. There were 492 delegates that represented a cross-section of Nigerians, including professional bodies, groups. The conference was headed by Chief Justice Idris Legbo Kutigi. Following a plenary session that lasted for weeks, the conference was broken into 20 committees. The 2014 Confab, it was a big deal. I'm sure you have memories of it. 20 committees that included public finance and revenue, among others. And a white paper was published, the Confab report. Say, if we implement this thing where they inside here, it's over. We have solved political, religious, geopolitical, tribal, gender. Most of the problems we have will be solved because these recommendations came from professionals. And it was a noble project by the Goodluck administration, I have to admit. How do we solve our problems? And it was open. 492 delegates. Bring your expertise, bring your experience. And the report came out of it. Guess what? Till today, that report has not been implemented. Let me tell you what the Confab cost us. It cost this country, in 2014, 7 billion naira. Hold on, I have the stats somewhere. Oh my. Just give me a minute, I apologize. I'll get it. I know I saw this figure somewhere. Okay, I'll get what it cost us. Hopefully at some point before the end of this conversation. But it cost us a lot. Now, the president is telling us why he did not implement that report that took us so much to put together. So here goes the report about the president speaking about his non-implementation of the report. Former President Goodluck Jonathan on Sunday explained why his administration did not implement the recommendations of the 2014 National Conference. He made this known when he joined former Vice President Atiku Abubakar to pay a condolence visit to the family of late Afenifere leader Chief Ayo Adebanjo in Lagos. Jonathan said the political situation in Nigeria at the time was too turbulent to accommodate presentation of the recommendations. Jonathan said the 2014 National Conference would not have come up without the contributions of people such as late Adebanjo. Jonathan said a number of people had kept asking why he did not implement the recommendations of the conference. According to him, most Nigerians do not know that there was a lot of political turbulence in the country at the time. He said a key member of the legislature who is in his party mobilized against him and moved to another party. Jonathan added that some persons were ready to bring his administration down at the time. It was not time that we could present such a document. Thank God for everything. We believe that one day, one government will review it and take everything he said. So in other words, our former president is telling us that why he did not implement a report that they claimed would fix our problems is because he had political issues. In other words, why I did not implement this report that would have fixed our country is because my government at that time, we were facing some... These are not my words, right? I'm literally reading. Because, at that time, my government, some people defected, some were against me, they were pushing me. So because at the time, there was just too much we were dealing with. That's why we could not implement what we had spent taxpayers' money to put together. Because I had temporary problems. We could not implement a permanent solution. After the break, we talk.
The show continues after this break on Nigeria Info.
You have any
Info, Sam Oracle Chinedu here. We have returned. Now, the conversation for this hour is on the former president stating why his administration did not implement the Confab report. He made this known when he joined former Vice President Atiku Abubakar to pay a condolence visit to the family of late Afenifere leader Chief Ayo Adebanjo. Jonathan said the political situation in Nigeria at the time was too turbulent to accommodate presentation of the recommendations. He said the national conference would have not come up without the contributions of such people as late Adebanjo. He said a key member of the legislature who was in his party mobilized against him and moved to another party. He talked about political turbulence. So the challenges I was facing at the time stopped me from implementing a document that was supposed to fix the country's problems because I had challenges in my administration of a political nature at that time. And then the former president wraps up by saying he believes and he hopes that another administration would look at the report and implement the recommendations. Confessions. Amazing. Well, I have questions. I'm going to open the phone lines. I'll ask you what you make of this. And hopefully you tell me. So let's make it happen. 0817-923-0002. 0817-923-0003. WhatsApp is 080-903-06-416. We're live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You can watch, listen, and comment. Please turn off your radio as you do. The question up on social media, if the Confab report had been implemented, how different would Nigeria be? But to you, of course, also is, what do you make of the president's statement? And I will run through the key recommendations of that report to see if, indeed, we could have been better off. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, what's your name?
I'm calling from Nkoro.
All right, go ahead.
The former president should please allow us to rest. During that time, I believe that he couldn't do anything. They should allow Nigerians to rest. Please, pull up a belly, Jonathan. Thank you. God bless
Okay.
you.
Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Oh, my. Okay. I'll try to reconnect. Over to WhatsApp. Good evening, Sam. I would not be surprised to hear in the future the confession someone will make when they are old and grey about the court rulings and counter-court rulings and how they influence and induce court judges on the verdicts, causing pain to the state. No matter how the truth is kept secret, it must be uncovered one day. Clinton, Mr. Fresh says. Okay. And Pastor Daibi Opuda says if the former president knew he didn't have what it took to implement the recommendations of the panel, why did he even start it? What was he thinking of when he inaugurated the panel? Why not allow the sleeping dog to lie? Is he a true leader? The pastor is asking. The former president should have used his past experience to advise the governor of Rivers State and FCT minister. It shouldn't come as a competition. This could have been one of the advantages of his past experiences. That's interesting. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, Sam, good evening.
Good evening.
My name is J.A.J. and I'm calling you from Port Harcourt town right now.
All right, go ahead.
Sam, I'm not surprised on this call.
Why?
You remember Arizo Compatriot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we now fall back to the one of 1960. And what do they call this one? What's the first?
Nigeria, we hailed
Nigeria
it.
with AD.
Yeah.
So I want to tag this topic as Nigeria with AD because if this thing was too important, I think Jonathan would have rushed because he had an ample time to have implemented at least start the implementation. Sam, I tell you a very short story.
Okay.
Where one old woman saw snuff. You know snuff now, that one they put in the
Yeah, in
mouth
the
and
nose.
right?
Yeah.
Yes, the woman was hailing this snuff seriously. She was saying that this is the best snuff I've ever seen. This is the best. Meanwhile, one little boy was looking at this woman hailing this snuff. Eventually, this woman puts the snuff in the mouth. You know what happens 1 minute after?
Tell me.
she spit that snuff away. And the little boy approached the old woman and said, Mama, as you praise this snuff, you should not swallow them. That's the same thing Jonathan is telling us right now. This is the instrument that would have solved Nigeria's problem, but you were the one that put the instrument together, but you spat it away after they put it together. I think this is far from the realities we're facing right now, and it will not work. Question, please.
Okay, I have no questions. Thank you very much, JJ.
Thank you.
Now, there were lots of recommendations from the 2014 Confab report, but let me take the major ones, because one of the questions I'm asking is, how differently would our country have turned out if we had implemented? There was a recommendation on devolution of power. The conference advocated for reducing legislative power at the federal level and devolving them to federating units. There was fiscal federalism and revenue sharing, and the formula was the federal government gets 42.5%, the state governments get 35%, and local governments 22.5%. The adjustments aim to empower state and local government with greater financial resources. We're still grappling and battling with, local government allocations. Supreme Court had to reestablish that the local government was an autonomous government. It's just it's many shades of crazy. There was resource control. The conference recommended local control of resources and a review of the revenue allocation percentage for states producing oil and other resources. There was power sharing and rotation. To promote inclusivity, it was recommended that the president rotate between north and south among the political zones. Similarly, governorship positions should rotate among the 3 senatorial districts within each state. There was establishment of state police, which has become a front burner issue today, but this was a recommendation from as far back as over 10 years ago and even earlier. There was removal of immunity clause. This one would have caused problems. The conference recommended abolishing the immunity clause that protects the president, vice president, governor, and deputy governors from criminal or civil prosecution while in office. I have my reservations about this one. There was agricultural restructuring, creation of new states, part-time legislature. Your lawmakers, to reduce the cost of governance, would have been part-time lawmakers. It was proposed that membership in the National Assembly should be on part-time basis. Exactly. That thing you're thinking, I'm thinking it as well. Imagine your senators doing it part-time because they had to get other jobs. There was separation of office of Attorney General from Minister of Justice. There were lots of recommendations, but these are the key 10. Now that you've heard it, if we had implemented this report, how differently would our country have turned out? And what do you make of the admission by the former president, Jonathan, about why he did not implement the confab? Oracle IBB and Jonathan would have saved this nation but refused. Why telling us now? Sir Ken is asking. Owanete West says, the remarks made by former President Goodluck Jonathan is nothing to write home about. And this is unacceptable. A sitting president telling us an excuse does not hold water. Why confessing now? Let former President pack well. Owanete Clinton West says on WhatsApp. Let's take those calls. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, my name is Bright Wish. I'm calling from Bonny Island.
Go ahead, Bright.
This was the president that told us that had no shoe.
Yeah.
Now it's time to better the life of Nigerians. What he started, he was able to do it. That means this is one material things. What are the life of the country or the life of the citizens in the country? So he wanted a second tenor or third tenor, which we never also succeeded. At the end, how come he failed the election? Is it until election he failed because of people who are running from one party to another? These are the things we are talking about. These are the former leaders. Now coming to advise the current ones. This is the way we are able to do anything. I think that we are confident the report we are implemented. Many things would have changed to better the life of all the states. For example,
I'm listening. For example,
the resource control. The things that we have in our just like the Southern States, like the Niger Delta, wife of Kubara and so on. Because you are sorry as the former president. Please let him go and sit down. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Hello, good evening. Hello. Okay, so I'll stick to the messages I have. This message reads, former President Goodluck was the weakest president I've seen in Nigerian history. He did not know how to use power. Nigeria's president has the biggest power on earth, but what he was doing, it is what I can't explain. Look at what is in that report would have gone far in Nigeria. Thank you, Emmanuel from Iwofe. Yeah, the Nigerian president is powerful. I'm not sure. Telling us stories. Bakata from Ozuaha community says. And the next comment, GJ missed it all to implement the confab because he was afraid of the outcome and its effects, which the system would have used on him from day safer. Well, true, there would have been political consequences because by the time you implement these recommendations, it was greatly going to reduce the cost of governance. It was going to affect the lifestyle of politicians. There were lots of things that would not have favored the personal interests of the political class, but it would have been in the best interest of the country. So, what does that tell you? I'm not quite sure. Moving on, Jonathan. Why is he starting like a warning? Please inform him to allow us have peace. His government was a massive failure. This comment reads, can I have somebody who will talk to me in 1 minute? Is that feasible? Hello?
Hello, good evening, Mr. Oracle.
Can you do it in a minute?
Yeah, my name is Chima Dike.
Can you do it in a minute, Chima?
Yes, now.
All right.
I stop, you got me now.
Go ahead. No, I want you to end. Go ahead.
Brother Jonathan, I don't know that I'm going to say that he failed us or he failed himself. Now, the issue of everybody coming to confess because they are seeing this country as a joke. Because you can imagine the resources that you wasted to host that national cup. And immediately, when I knew that you're going to be a failure, is when you said that you should not discuss about the separation of Nigeria. Because you took an oath to protect Nigeria. That's why I think that the whole thing that is a failure. Because you cannot say national confirm that they will not discuss the whole thing about the nation. Now you could not implement it. Now you want to come and implement it. That is the same thing that Steve is regretting here. Because to implement the agreement from Abuja, he refused to implement it. And it was Jonathan that came to advise him to, and then he will come in democracy general. Now they are best of the same feather. And then they will be regretted.
Thank you, Chima.
Is 1 minute enough?
Yes, it is enough. It's more than enough. Well, a program comes up now. Please stay with us.